Wait till you see my clips. Wait till you see my clips. Hey y'all, wait till you see my clips. You will never get enough.
Give room for Marcus and AR with this word because I know they're practicing Christians. So I mean, when they say this stuff, I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt. But when you hear people in these online spaces use the word Jezebel, Miss Nebraska, how does that land on you? I'm like, why do they keep saying it?
If I see that or if I hear that term being used in a negative light towards women, I just chop it up as, that obviously they haven't read. And there's a lot of people who call themselves Christians that have never picked up the Bible and read and studied anything, right? They just go by off of stories that was told to them by a pastor or grandmother or whatnot, and they run with it. Or they'll just take a passage out of the Old Testament and run with it because, it goes with what they want to do per se. So I don't read too much into it.
I got you. What about you, Bri? Does it land on you a specific way, or is it like, eh?
If only they put this much energy into realizing that it's really Ahab that was the problem, because he was the king, right, and he gave all the power to his wife. And if he would have just said, "I'm the king, I made the call," then that shit wouldn't even happen. So worry about Ahab. What about this Ahab spirit? Can we call out Ahab spirit if we're gonna be calling out Jezebel
Thank you. Every time I see that now, I'm saying the Ahab spirit.
For there to be a Jezebel, there has to be an Ahab somewhere.
Will got the Ahab spirit.
He got an Ahab spirit. If he got a Jezebel,
Johnny Depp got the Ahab spirit.
Ahab spirit.
I like that.
You'll never hear about him though.
Don't know. Like Jezebel was an actual princess in the 9th century. So, I mean, people have to read the actual story first before they run with the whole narrative of the Jezebel spirit, And
y'all know what made Jezebel a lot of times do what she did, right? Ahab being bitch made. Let's go. Let the anger consume you.
Ooh.
That's what usually happens. And Jezebel felt the need to go protect her husband.
We need the horn on that one. Let me get the horn. Hold on.
That's usually what happened. She felt the need to protect his ego.
Hey, that feels right to me. That sounds right. It feels right. When I think about it,
haymakers. She's with a haymaker. Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea who y'all talking about, so I'm like, all right.
Can anybody give a synopsis? It may not be biblically accurate, just a summary of your understanding of it.
I can give an accurate one.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, go for it, Kawaii.
All right, so Jezebel was a princess. She was highborn. She was married to the king Ahab, who was considered one of the most evil kings in the biblical history by God, because he gave all his power over to Jezebel to ruin the people. So basically, Jezebel, she came from a line of Baal worshippers. And Ahab was supposed to be one of the Israelites. He was supposed to be born through a line of, God's people. So he was supposed to be keeping God's laws, not worshiping Baal. But he let Jezebel come in and she took over and she made the whole country start serving Baal and doing Baal worship and making sacrifices to Baal. And that was already out of line. So the story that's most famous for why Jezebel got in trouble was Ahab wanted a vineyard. He had all these vineyards because he was a king. He had plenty, right? But he wanted this one vineyard from this one man, okay? Regular man. And he went and tried to buy the vineyard from the man. And the man's like, no, I'm good. I don't want to sell you my vineyard. I'm going to keep it. You know what I'm saying? Ahab come home pouting about it, Jezebel looked at his countenance and was like, what's wrong? What's wrong, boo? And he like, oh, I want this vineyard, but he won't sell it to me, just kind of pouting like, oh, well, And Jezebel's like, you're a king. What do you mean? He said, no, he doesn't have the right to say no to you. If you want it, he should give it to you. And so Jezebel ordered to have that man murdered. And she also had all the prophets murdered of God. And Obadiah, which is one of the prophets, actually went into hiding. And they went to hiding in the caves. And Elijah was a prophet who had to fight Jezebel because she was having all the prophets murdered and everything like that. And he was tired of her too. He said, God, I'm tired. Can you just take me out? Sick of her. And so that's how we got Elisha, who was his pupil. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Jezebel was a prophet killer. She was a Baal worshiper. But Ahab is considered by God to be one of the most evil kings that they ever had. He didn't say
Right.
nothing about Jezebel.
Wait, so she was a ride or die?
She was
is
a
what I'm
ride or
getting
die.
messed up.
She was a ride or die. Absolutely.
Basically.
So why is it looked at as a negative? I'm trying to see the negative here.
Because they're not blaming Ahab, who really was the issue, because he was
Right.
the king and he had the standard that God gave. He knew God's standard and he still gave all his power to Jezebel.
Mhm.
That sounds a lot like the Adam and Eve thing, where the woman gets to blame. That's
Right.
interesting. Interesting.
I mean, even today in our society, women still get the blame.
Yeah, because y'all buying weave. If y'all quit buying weave, y'all can save the world. Children would not be starving in Africa if y'all could get rid of that 18-inch wet and wavy Siberian Peninsula yaki.
Honey,
You know, if y'all could.
I got a flammable wig on my head. This wig is
Now,
$15.
as a man with multiple sisters, my father would tell you he will buy a wig in a minute to save the money he has to save on spending money on the girls' hair. Trust me.